Can the ego be destroyed? Should it be? What if the ego is absolutely necessary for one to ever truly discover their highest self, the real self? Who is this voice inside our heads? Is it God or is it the devil? Could it be both? And if it is both, how does one discern between the two? In other words, is there ever a time to indulge the ego? Or is the ego's intention strictly intended to impede our ascension journey? After careful consideration and rather extensive research, I can boldly claim the ego as being purposeful beyond a necessity. The ego is reactionary to the built-in karma from all of our life's experiences, this life as well as all the previous incarnations of our truest self. Together, they create the consciousness of our supreme being. The ego, as well as our karma, are continuously evolving. They are always ever changing for the good as well as the bad. If a life lesson isn't learned, it snowballs, right? It grows, or in other words, the lesson becomes harder to overcome. It burdens your life in a bigger way. It evolves, and it can and will be passed through our DNA, from fathers to sons, mothers to daughters. This is where our generational demons reside, well within our ego. And the response to our ego is what ultimately builds our karma. But there is good news too. Our guardian angels and our spirit guides reside within our DNA as well. They present solution to our life's lessons. This is where our free will comes in. You have the choice. You can listen to your spirit guides assisting you in your ascension journey, or you can fall victim to your ego, whereas your karma will grow and continuously be passed along in this karmic lesson unless it's resolved. Thus, without the continuous temptations from our ego, one can never successfully ascend into the kingdom of heaven. And worse, the lack of awareness of our ego, or lack of acknowledgement of our life's lessons, or our spirit tests, if you will forever lower our energy vibrations. In other words, the lack of learning will keep us stuck in what the Bible refers to as hell. The ego wins. Thus, our eternal damnation is only a result of us not successfully adhering to our life's lessons and overcoming our ego. To defeat a demon, and for the sake of our conversation, let us refer to demons also as being evil or sinful. Well, one must stop doing demonic things, evil or sinful things. These things usually exemplify our addictions and even our mental health disorders, preventing us from becoming our highest selves and fulfilling our life's purpose. You must pay the toll to cross the bridge, and there will be several bridges and several trolls to hold you accountable. But every toll that's paid and every bridge being crossed is all a part of your higher purpose. This is your ascension journey. You can consider your ascensions as dimensional as well, or for the more spiritually advanced and perhaps longer awakened, this is the secret of the Kundalini, right? And the chakras. This is the Holy Spirit. It's a success story of the secretion of the Christos up and down the spine. To be clear, both heaven and hell exist here on earth. Actually, let's be even more clear. Heaven and hell exist within you. Your free will is ultimately your life path to either kingdom. The choice is yours. This is the brilliance of God, the Father, the source of all creation. You were given the power to create your own reality. Thus, you are the creator of your own heaven and hell. In Matthew 4, verse 1 through 11, we come to know how Jesus was being tested in the wilderness. I'd like to read that passage and share my understanding as it applies to overcoming our egos. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. The tempter came to him and said, "If you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread." Jesus answered, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city and had him stand on the highest point of the temple. "If you are the Son of God," he said, "throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against stone." Jesus answered him, "It is also written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. "All this I will give you," he said, "if you will bow down and worship me." Jesus said to him, "Away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only." Then the devil left him, and angels came and attended him. Now, I want to make something clear. I am not religious, nor do I consider myself a modern-day Christian. Instead, I'm a follower of truth, and I hear the Gospels of Yeshua ben Yosef loud and clear. Christ speaks to me through the Gospels. I am a follower of Christ. I believe in the metaphysical equation of 1 plus 1 equals 3, whereas the 3 then equal 1. This is the true spiritual wisdom of the Trinity. It is the secret of oneness, and it's being badly misconstrued in our churches today. Christ is the church, and you are his temple, but do not be confused. I still believe even the modern day Bibles are masterfully written and reveal this beautiful truth of Christ consciousness. If you can break down the codes and truly understand these godly metaphors and parables, then you will be well on your way to discovering your own truth and be more prepared than ever to adhere to your life's lessons and overcome your ego. Take this passage I just read in Matthew, for instance. Christ is in the flesh of Jesus, who was all alone in the wilderness, and Jesus is demonstrating powerful self-talk, exemplifying how to overcome the temptations of his own ego. When he refers to spirit, he is talking about Christ, or God the Father within, say as the Holy Spirit. Now, Yeshua was the most perfect man to ever live, but even he had an ego. The Bible refers to his ego as Satan. This entire passage reflects on how the perfect man can overcome even the greatest of temptations. Later on in the Bible, while Jesus is on the cross, he calls out to his Father, "Why have you forsaken me?" This is an important lesson for all the spiritually awakened men and women today, especially those proclaiming to be light workers and starseeds. All mankind will eventually experience a moment of weakness, and then they will experience its evolution time and time again, as Jesus also did, and he was the perfect man. So to understand this further and to answer my own question, no, you cannot destroy the ego. It ascends with you. The ego is your greatest teacher. It is the master of your karma and the organizer of your heaven and your hell. The ego will never give you the answers to your test. Instead, it will try to tempt you as far from the answers or truth as it possibly can. Now, here's the tricky part. The higher you ascend, the closer you are to reaching the kingdom of heaven, the harder the devil or your ego will come for you. I see so many people using this platform to speak their truth today. Keep doing so, but stop believing you have the one and only truth. I've been on TikTok for a year now, and I've learned so much from so many, and I've since started seeing the awakened begin fighting amongst one another. Some of my favorite teachers have turned against each other. Can each of you no longer recognize your own egos? Look, nobody wants to be wrong, right? And for those that have spent countless hours seeking truth, remember, you are never done seeking. It would be unwise to think you were. It's okay to further examine something and expand your understanding of truth. When you start to argue with someone over what you've discovered, but will not listen to what others have discovered in turn, then you are losing your personal battle with your own ego. Do not fight with someone over the truth. There is never any light or love in fighting, only darkness. Some are still unaware of how their ego has disguised itself once again, and now come back for them fierce and fiery. For the serpent is a slippery slope, my friends. More importantly, for every time you ascend into the kingdom of heaven, you are thus reborn, reincarnated into a new life or a new dimension. You receive your new body until you receive your heavenly body, which very well may be a star in the sky. But be prepared, because until then, you go on to your next assignment and start another journey all over again. Lessons repeat themselves until they are learned, but there are many lessons and many levels or dimensions. For example, the 7 chakras. There is a journey within each chakra, as well as for each dimension and for every life. Remember, we are always evolving. Nobody alive today has the only truth. Nobody. Not me, not the wisest person in the world, nobody. But many are awakening and seeking the absolute truth, and that is a beautiful fucking thing. Don't tell people you know the only way. Just show them the way that you went. You can't give the people the answers. They must find their own truth and experience their own karma and overcome their own egos to become their highest self, which we now know is of God. There is a reason why our society creates external solutions. Whether it be pharmaceuticals, a God in the sky, or whatever it be you go to searching for answers. You are meant to go within. You are looking, if you look outside yourself for answers, you will never truly find them. Your highest self is the master creator. Yes, there is an external source or God, but the beautiful thing about it all is, as above, so below. Seek God within. My favorite philosopher on the ego is Alan Watts. I'd like to leave you with something he said that will always stay with me when I think I have mastered my reality. Because I have not yet, nor will I ever, for there will always be lessons left unlearned. And the ego cannot be defeated, for it doesn't really exist. It is a hallucination that stays with you no matter where you are. As Alan Watts said it best, the hallucination of separateness prevents one from seeing that to cherish the ego is to cherish misery. We do not realize that our so-called love and concern for the individual is simply the other face of our own fear of death or rejection. In his exaggerated evaluation of separate identity, The personal ego is sawing off the branch on which he is sitting and then getting more and more anxious about the coming crash. Cue Alan Watts laugh. Look, that's my 2 cents for today, my hero friends. Until next time, this is Frankly DeVoice, signing off.